Hello, welcome to the Good Batch podcast. I am your host, Aries Ascended, brought to you live with the one, the only Prophet God. How
Howdy.
are you?
Working. Working.
We also have Panda B Mikey in the building. How are you doing today?
Okay.
Okay, indeed.
Just
We're here for
okay.
Halo, guys. Halo episode 7. Not controversial at all, as I've seen uh, some people talk about, but overall thoughts. What do you guys think? Spoiler episode. You've been warned.
You want me to go first?
Sure, Derek.
Yeah,
You go
go
ahead.
ahead.
For TV average, it was whatever. It's like one of those episodes where you're kind of stuck. It reminds me of like kind of The Walking Dead when they went to uh whatever the all women village was. It was fine.
Mm.
It was an okay episode. It was just like
Oceanside?
Oceanside. Yeah, whenever what's her face Tara went to Oceanside. It's like that where it's like yeah, it's not like awful, and they did what they needed to do in this episode. And I mean, it wasn't complete like anime beach episode filler, but yeah, it was all right. I think Soren and Fincher really elevated it. I think Quan earned some cred for me in this episode finally. So I'm hoping that that blossoms. So little sprouting, well, maybe even a little bit of a stalk, but
Okay.
it's growing. We'll see where it goes.
What about you, Mikey? How'd you feel?
I have tried so hard to like this episode and I just can't. So we'll leave it at that. I didn't like it. I can't wait to get back to Chief and the other
Uh,
side of this story. I don't know. Yep, that's where I'll leave it at. Not my favorite. You can skip
okay.
it, but I don't know, maybe watch it so you understand what's going on and how Madrigal plays in.
I think you're missing out on a lot of awesome gems. I think the review of this and Multiverse of Madness, by the way, you should go watch that episode too. If ever you're watching this in the future. Speaking to you from the past, it's crazy.
Oh.
I think it's gonna be very, very similar, where it's like, yeah, you probably don't even need to see this one, but you should, because there's a lot of cool stuff in it. But I mean, it's like bells and whistles.
Okay. I saw the episode like thumbnail and saw that it just said like Quan on it. And I'm just like, oh no. I was dreading. It's exactly what we predicted. This episode was not nearly as bad as I thought it'd be. I got to
Ace.
give the props where props are earned. Quan earned some points in my book. Did I enjoy this episode? Here's the interesting thing. I did, but I also didn't. And that's kind of obviously contradicting myself. Let me talk about why I enjoyed this episode. Overall, the episode, the writing, for the most part, what happened. Uh it was fine. I was entertained. I enjoyed it. It was okay. Like there were some moments that I didn't enjoy as much as others. I thought Soren was desperately needed in this episode, which I'm glad he was in it. I think the pacing was a little weird, but the things that I didn't like about it is I didn't look at this episode and connect it to Halo. I actually, honestly, to God, forgot I was watching Halo until she had her ayahuasca trip, whatever drug she was taking, and Master Chief showed up. I'm like, oh yeah, we are in Halo. I forgot,
Mhm.
but I was enjoying it. It was fine. I just did not feel like we were watching. I almost felt like it was like Dune or something. It just was something else. The Soren scenes, I liked all the Soren scenes. I enjoyed them a lot. I kind of like that aspect. Like Soren's a really well written character. I think they can write him better and continue to write him better. And having a pirate is pretty cool. Quan, I still don't know where they're going with her exactly. She's some sort of protector, but why?
Oh.
I don't know. Uh, just different. Were they talking about monitors? I don't know. Who are these people in the desert? I don't know.
Neither do
Uh,
TV watchers, by the way.
right. So I'm coming at this as a TV watcher. This isn't from Halo.
Yeah. Yeah,
As of Halo goes,
Lost kept you in the woods for fucking years.
sure, and like that's
What
fine.
is this?
But knowing the franchise's name and having like actual stories to go off of and lore to go off of,
Mhm.
that's where this show does differ from a show like Lost, because Lost there was no medium to um indulge in to kind of get a better understanding of the world building that they were doing, where Halo already has a lot already built. And so like this is new stuff. I'm not saying it's bad. I have no idea where they're going, and that's not a positive or a negative. It's just is what it is. Um it was fine. It was a fine episode for a filler episode. Yeah, no, it was definitely fine. And secondly, it could have been much worse. Like it could have been much worse. I think Quan earned
Oh
some
yeah.
points, like I said.
Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
Quan
Keep going.
Quan Quan earned some points, like I said. The flashbacks were fine. I don't know. I don't know why we're investing so much time into this character. I'm waiting for that payoff. I really am. My favorite things about the episode, everything that Soren was in, like especially the fighting. Soren's awesome, so cool. Um, it doesn't have full Mjolnir armor, and he's just murking all these dudes. And then I can't remember the bad guy's name, but he's awesome too. I really enjoyed him as a bad guy. Just very anime bad guy. Loved him. Is it Fitchner? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Venture.
Venture. Yeah, he's great. And that actor, I mean, he is a perfect bad guy in any movie he's in. Like he just has that presence. So well played there. If I have to laugh. Okay, I have to laugh because in the ayahuasca dream that she has, where she's fighting the Master Chief, um, Master Chief is not Master Chief is wearing his helmet, right? And then like friendly Master Chief is not wearing helmet. So like obviously there's a big difference between the two.
Mhm.
I laugh at this because not the fact that he took his helmet off, like it's what it is. Like we've seen him with his helmet off. He in this universe he doesn't have his helmet on at all times. I accept that. What made me kind of laugh is like, okay, I'm looking at this at a different perspective. Like his helmet, which I wish and I hope that they actually do more building in, is I want him with his helmet on for one reason and one reason only, like moving forward, is I want his helmet to be like an instrument of fear. Because like when you see him in full armor, like that's the demon, that's Master Chief, like that's the enemy. But then like when she has the moment of like maybe I shouldn't be fighting him, and then his helmet's off, it's like, oh yeah, like that's John. And like so it's like almost two different personas. I want them to
Yeah.
explore that more. If we're gonna have Master
Well,
Chief with his helmet off as much as we do, which is fine at this point, we need to build him more with his helmet on in the fear aspect. Why the Covenant fear him? Why the insurrectionists fear him? I don't want helmetless John running around the insurrectionists, and then like that's two different images. I like this image of the demon, and then I like this image of John, the Master Chief. And if that's the direction they're going, I'm all for it.
insurrectionists don't call him demon, do they?
No, they
That's
just
like
call him the
Oh,
a
Master
alien
Chief. They
word,
call him
right?
a Spartan. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
demon's just the alien word. But I mean, he's like the boogeyman, right? And so like when you're an insurrectionist and you're trying to go to bed at night and you have nightmares, like you don't dream of Master Chief's face. You dream of him in full armor. He's
Well,
coming to get you.
what I'm asking is like, would the insurrectionists care that it's master? Don't they just hate the UNSC? It doesn't matter if it's chief or not.
Yes, but no, because Master
Spartans
Chief is
are
so well
strong.
known. Well, no, because he is known. Like he is the Spartan. In this universe, that is in this
In this,
TV
it
show, they've talked about it. That
okay,
like they know who he is. They know
okay.
that is the Master Chief. They know that guy is like their leader. In the books and in the games, yeah, like it's not as talked about, but he is well recognized, especially during like the video games, because he's like the only Spartan running around. Um,
Right, but in the show,
which
the only
is
thing I remember, and I could be wrong, but the only thing I remember is old Scottish guy going, "Yeah, Spartans are real fast and dangerous."
Mhm.
And then when they come down, they're like, "I's the UNSC." Like it's like that's all I really remember. Like I don't remember them going, "Oh my god, it's Master Chief." Like I don't remember that.
They didn't say that, but I could have swore in that first episode they had a moment where like they were showing the propaganda of Spartans and he's the face of Spartans.
Okay.
So like when you know
Yeah, I can
like
see that.
this is a really bad comparison, excuse me and forgive me, but like when World War I was happening and the Germans had like their spike helmets and stuff and like they had that image on posters of like I think they had like a giant ape uh because like King Kong was really popular during that time, and like he like was a Nazi, not Nazi, excuse me, a
King
German with the
Kong was a
stalwart.
Nazi.
No, I'm pretty sure there's like propaganda from World War I of an image of like King Kong grabbing like an American woman, um, and he has like a
Calling her an
stalwart
yeah.
helmet on. And they're like, you need to defend your country, blah blah blah, from like these invaders. Like it had nothing to do with King Kong. It just King Kong was popular, so they used that image.
Mm.
It's a crazy image. It's really crazy. But that's the same concept that I was trying to explain is
Yeah.
I recall him being the face of the propaganda of the Spartan program. So like I would imagine like when these insurrectionists think about Spartans, like he's the first Spartan they think of because he's the most recognized Spartan. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
so you want them to
I want them to build more into that if they're going to go that route.
right. I think that comes with like episode 5, the last half of episode 1, right? When he's like in battle mode, right? When he
Yeah.
had that conversation with Kai
Oh,
where she was
totally.
like, "You are not fit for combat." Like that's his Spartan side talking, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like him being so stern with weapon Cortana. That to me signifies his like soldier side.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, and
But yeah,
that's totally fine. That's totally
explore it
fine.
more. I agree. I want to see more Master Chief in
Crit-
action. Absolutely.
critiquing critiquing the episode though, I still don't see why Quan was even relevant for this show.
Oh,
I would have much rather had like a female protagonist, UNSC soldier, or I don't know, someone like in the action,
Mhm.
um, where like this. I don't. I
So
gotta be patient. I gotta be patient. I know, but like,
yeah,
why
you're
is
good. No, no, no.
Madrigal
I'm
so
gonna
important?
defend the early parts of the show, which aren't
Sure.
like even in the Halo games.
Sure. I'm
So
specifically
I'm
talking
gonna
from a
on a
show
mass
perspective.
scale, like a
Yep.
theme mass, like TV shows are theme things. That's
Mhm.
what they do. Like WandaVision, boom, theme thing, very big, right? Um, and sometimes shows really hit themes very, very hard. And a lot of the times, like Walking Dead or even Game of Thrones, a lot of times it's like, oh well, this like in The Walking Dead, Negan represents like authoritarianism, whereas the kingdom represents monarchy, whereas the town represents like democracy because they all vote, right? Like there's like big themes that go on in TV shows like that because that tickles the pickle of really old people and women. And that's what you need to do. So like that it just is what it is. Like you'll find the nicest, churchiest woman with the dirtiest books on her bookshelf. Why? I don't know. The women seem to like that shit. So like they add romance and stuff into stuff. Like Halo's like not really much about romance, but if you're making a TV show, you're gonna need to add that element into it. I agree that it's probably not ideal, but yeah, like so for Kwan and her stuff, like the way I can see it from a TV perspective is that they're insurrectionists who I mean, even in this episode, they like Venture doesn't even know the aliens. Like he goes, "Oh, that's what they look like," but he doesn't care because he's such an awful person, right? Like humans are not good people in this world, as they are in the Halo games or as they are here on Earth, if that's what you want to say. It's not how I feel right now, but in this show, in this world, those humans are not to be trusted, and the ultimate good guys are the insurrectionists. They're the little guys, they're the ones that are beaten down, they're the poverty driven, they're the slave driven. Like that's what they are. They're under empire regime, right? Luke had a very similar uh, start to his story where he just came from the dirt planet and then rose up, right? So I'm assuming that that's probably the route for Quan in some way,
I
to
agree.
have her rise up and ascend. It's just right in the very beginning. It's
well,
early.
And
she, she, she,
I know that I'm comparing to the games. I know I'm comparing to the books. But I do find it interesting that they are going the route of making the insurrectionists so important, where in the books, like they're not important at all.
Nah,
Like they're in the beginning.
I'll interject here. I think Kwan's purpose was pretty well spelled out in this. I don't think the insurrectionists per se are going to have an important plot in Halo. I think the protectors, the group that we meet, and what Kwan inevitably is what's going to be the good part of Madrigal. You see some sort of Forerunner tech go in and out of that well, and her father and line of generations have protected that well, and I'm calling it now. This is how the humanity is going to get to Halo, is through that teleportation device. And that's Kwan's role, which is fine. Let's see how they develop that story of her being a protector, because it's something new. I'm not against new things. I just, yep, that's where we're at.
So is a protector a Halo thing?
I have no clue. It's nothing that I've
aware of.
ever heard of, ever. So that's why I'm saying, like, okay, cool, new idea. Let's see where they develop this from, or develop it into.
Sorry, is Madrigal specifically a planet?
It is,
That,
yes.
Like mines hydrogen. Like is it pretty
No.
close?
No.
Okay.
It is a planet inside of the Halo universe, but as far as like its role and importance, it's just like one either Marine ODST or Spartan is from Madrigal, and that's the end of it being talked in core canon. I'm not even opposed to Madrigal being a key element to it. Whatever. I just want to get to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're on like again, I think all of these issues could have been prevented if they would have just released the fucking series. Like, don't do this week to week stuff. It people cannot do it. They cannot wait. They cannot do it. They see the first thing and then they go, I don't like it. Or they love it and then it turns bad, which is sometimes even worse. like I hate when that happens. I'm gonna hate it all the time because it's greedy and it's so capitalistic. But in this sense, like I'm actually surprised at how quickly they're moving this along. Sure, that whole episode was Quan centric, but half of it was Venture and Soren. So I mean, and even some of the Quan stuff wasn't like completely useless. Cheesy, weird, corny, yes, but again, that's I mean, Moon Knight had that. I'm an Egyptian superhero. Right? Like this is just writers in Hollywood
perfect.
doing writers things. Like it's business as usual to me. The thing that is interesting to me is that this gets hate, but other shows do not. And it's like, okay, well, why would that be? And it seems to me that there is a hardcore group of people who are misogynistic, probably racist, like horrible people who are big into Reddit and have stirred up a shitstorm. And it's a fucking horrible and stupid CBS and Paramount feeding into it by like releasing the first episode and then turning off comments and then taking the episode away. People like blocking people like Angry Joe, like they're doing themselves no favors. They're dumb too, and the way they release stuff is dumb too. But I think that all of this could have been prevented if Paramount had just released the damn episodes, and then nobody would. I think people would go, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but it was all right, I guess. They wouldn't be like, it's awful, it's garbage, it's shit, and this all could have been avoided.
I really agree with that. I have noticed some people, I haven't seen their videos, but like just their thumbnails, that this is the worst episode so far. I don't agree.
What?
I don't think this was the worst episode so far. And for those people that are saying that, like, they need to go revisit some of those episodes. I think still my least favorite episode was episode 2.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
I really did not like that episode at all.
But since they brought Reth back, and he's like a reoccurring character, I'm like, all right, maybe it's not so bad if he's gonna show up every once in a while. If they go to him,
a crazy person.
Yeah, Golem.
He's inside of her high vision.
Yeah. So, whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Again, we'll see. Like we have 3 more episodes or whatever.
This is 7. We got 2
more episodes. I think
2 more episodes.
Nice.
Yee-hoo! I can tell you, it made my brothers tune out. I don't think they're misogynistic. I don't think they're on that Reddit
No, I'm not saying
category.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is like a big contingent, kind of like I'm gonna make an alliteration, comparison. Let me make a comparison. It's like the January 6th thing. Do I think all 6,000 of those people are traitors, fucking assholes? No. I think a lot of them were just in
Whoa.
that mob mentality.
How do we get here?
There were a few of them who were doing a lot of bad things, and that mob mentality took over. I think that's happening with this show. It's seemingly
Absolutely. There's blind, not justice, blind.
But I don't begrudge people for disliking this episode because of this character. I don't begrudge that. I do begrudge them if they go, why didn't he have his helmet on? Like silly shit that I think is non-important to reviewing a TV show. That's the stuff that irritates me because that seems to be the core arguments that they have. People hating Quan, I'm with you. I don't like her either. She stole his gun. That's horrible. That's bad. You don't do that. Don't take my gun. But yeah.
What I was
Go ahead.
What I was getting along the lines of is just to represent that audience that is tuning in for Halo, from what they know of Halo, and they're Quan just is not the reason. Not just Quan, Madrigal. This entire side plot is not the reason why they would want to watch something revolving around Halo. And it goes right along with your point of if they just release the entire season at once, then they could see where it's going to. When you have an entire episode, 45 minutes, cutting out of the potential storyline from Master Chief. I guess that's really what is rubbing them wrong. Me too, but I also enjoy the extended core canon, so sure, this could become something awesome. But for that, at least what they were saying is it's 45 minutes. They don't care to watch. The Quan storyline or the Madrigal importance to this silver timeline is the least interesting part, and they wish they would have had 45 minutes more of Master Chief and where he's going. Even Maquis. And what I want is the Covenant, right? Like what? Why? Anyway,
money. It's all greed money.
Yeah, and that's why waste so much money on this when you could put it on something else? What writers is sitting here going, we need to flush this part out because when our audience hears Halo, they think Quan, Madrigal, Soren.
Well,
it's a human is saving the Spartan. I don't get it. I don't get it. TV audiences, when they see the trailer of Halo, think Quan? How is she in it for like maybe 10 seconds? And she has like a line that says, "Why would a Spartan save a human?" From what I remember,
it would have been more interesting that he.
I'm never gonna convince y'all. It's okay. It's fine.
I think it would have been more interesting for Chief and his storyline that he actually would have killed her when back on episode 1, and he had to face that demon, so to speak, no pun intended, throughout the series. Unfortunately, still have her in the episode, still have her
in TV world, you can't kill the Asian woman character. And it's not because she's Asian and woman. Like in the first episode of The Walking Dead, you probably wouldn't have killed Glenn. Right? It could be fascinating, you're right, but in TV shows, generally, they just don't do this thing. They don't want to fire or hire an actress or whatever, market the actress, probably make toys for the actress, and then kill her off, because then she's not going to sell toys. Right? That's the thing, is the business perspective is just the thing that, I guess, just gaming fans, they know about it, but maybe they're just not applying it. It's this is TV, this is big time media now. Like I say, Batman has iterations that I hate. I don't like Bat Pig or whatever, fucking Spider Pig, whatever his name is. Spider Pig is who I'm thinking of. I hate that cartoon stuff. Loki Alligator, all of this stuff is just weird and wacky and strange. But Halo fans seem to be really holding on to it. In taking it back to the episode, which is what I'd like to talk about, it was okay, and that's it. It is just an okay episode. I'm with you. I hope it goes back to Chief. It was just a fine episode. I actually, overall, think I enjoyed it start to finish more than I enjoyed Multiverse of Madness, which is, wild to me.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of low parts in Multiverse of Madness, but...
Well, stay tuned for that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. We can. I mean, is there anything else you'd like to say, Mikey, about this episode?
No,
We
there's
can
not
keep
much
it
I
brief
want to
this
say
week.
about the episode in general. You find
Yeah.
out why Quan is written in this story, so let's see where she goes from here.
Yeah. Nothing against the actress. Yeah. Nothing against her. It's not her fault, but I don't know. I feel like they're missing opportunities that could have been more well received based off of what people had expectations of. But at the same time, like from a TV perspective, it's what it is. Uh, why don't we give our final ratings and final verdict? I'm gonna give this episode 6 out of 10. I don't think it was awful. I don't think it was great. But like I was there. I enjoyed what I did see in some scenes, and other scenes I was a little bored. But is this the worst episode of Halo so far? No, not even close. Not even close. In fact, I think this episode is. I'm gonna bump it up to a 7. His standalone Quan episode was way more enjoyable than Quan episodes with Chief.
I think I agree with that actually. Well, not the episodes. I would say that specifically the Quan stuff. Like the Quan stuff was the least interesting. This is the most interesting she's ever been.
Derek, what's your final rating?
So my final rating is 7 out of 10. There's a lot of Venture and Soren stuff in here that I actually really liked a lot. That squirrel guy did his little mini insurrection just like I thought
Okay.
it would.
I gotta bring
Like
that
all
back
it
up.
like, and that was actually really funny. Like it was interesting. Is like I don't know who directed this episode, but they directed those scenes almost perfectly. That's a perfect side plot. I
No,
loved that whole thing. It was great to me. So like that bumps it up to a 7. I'm with y'all. I'm not a big fan of the Mystics in the desert. It reminds me too much of Dune, and I wasn't a big fan of Dune. It just is what it is.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like, did they really write a character named Squirrel just so that they can make a nut joke?
Probably.
I mean, sure.
Oh,
Uh,
is that Soren's lackey or
no,
whatever?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
goon.
actually got to go back, man. I got to give it a 6 out of 10 because the pacing was weird. Like I thought the Soren. I actually had to rewind. I didn't realize the Soren scenes were present day. I thought they were in the past. I'm like, how did he get back so fast? But then once I realized he was back and like it was present
Mhm.
day, like it's like okay, I'm enjoying this. It's fine. It's fun. Soren's great. Soren's a really good actor. I
Yep.
enjoy everything that he's in. But yeah, like I don't know, the pacing was really weird. The writing of this episode was really weird. So I will go 6 out of 10. My bad. Mikey.
Me is middle of the ground. 5. Get the yep. There's a lot of characters added in here just for the sake, I guess, to kind of set up Quan and Soren more. Uh, it would have been cool to see more of Pirate Soren, and for him to like stand on his what am I trying to say here? To pick a side. I'm still not convinced that he does it for the money or he does it out of respect for Chief. He finally got the money, and I guess he went back out of respect for Chief, so maybe that does answer both of his reasonings to go back to Quan.
Triple
Yeah.
bounty.
Tripled the bounty. She's still alive. Well, I gotta go protect her. Anywho, yeah, it's a 5-8.
I actually don't know if we're gonna see Quan the rest of the season. I think they kind of wrapped it up with her. Honestly,
Mm.
I think that she's gonna come back. Um,
I think you'll see her again.
yeah, for sure. But I don't know if we're gonna see her this season because it kind of.
I think you'll see her
She,
next episode.
I would dare say, she is as much a main character as anyone else in this show.
Correct.
So you are going to see her a lot. Maybe not an entire episode in the next 2, right? But I don't think Quan is going anywhere anytime soon, especially since they gave her a role as the protector of this mystical well that revolves around this mystical group on Madrigal. Anyway, yeah, I think Quan is she's the new Halo character.
I just want Sergeant Johnson. Can you please bring him in season 2, please?
Slow
Please.
down. See where they go.
Make him Korean. I don't care. Just give me Sergeant Johnson. Okay.
Korean? Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, Keys is black. Miranda Keys is, like they're changing things. I don't care. That's fine. Sergeant Johnson's always been a black character, but like, just give me Johnson. I don't care what race he is. Give it to me. Michael B. Jordan. Give me a Michael B. Jordan, Sergeant Johnson right now. I'd be over the moon.
Well, then you wouldn't have any money for the CGI for all those aliens. It would be more Michael B. Jordan having feelings.
Maybe it's a passion project.
Unknown actor, please.
Give me a lookalike of Michael B. Jordan.
Not reality.
That acts like him too.
I don't even know where Johnson's gonna fit in here yet. So you're way too far in the future. I don't know how Johnson, like, if they were to put Sergeant Johnson into this story right here, I don't know what he would do except be on the screen. There's not really a need for him. There's not really a storyline for him. Like, I don't know where he would intercede in this season. I could see it in future seasons of being a leader of the Marines on the Halo ring like he is. But yeah, I don't know where you would put him in here except for like in a battle.
To me, it makes more sense to not hire another actor and waste money, because I'm thinking from a TV perspective, and instead just put Keys as that role of mentor/friend to Chief. That's what it is. That's what I would expect them to do, because that's what like Steven Spielberg would probably do.
Sergeant Johnson's too cool to be sidelined.
He wouldn't be sidelined. He's just Keys now. He and Keys are one. More so that Keys has taken that role.
Their personalities are too different, though.
In the show or in the games?
Oh.
Right.
You haven't seen Johnson in the show yet, so...
Exactly. That's what I mean. So if you want Johnson in the show...
That's not a fair question, then, because like Johnson's not in the show yet, so I'm comparing him based off of the books and the games compared to Keys in the show.
And you can want that.
Fine.
You can want that. It's not going to happen.
But Keys is pretty spot on of like who he is in the books too. Other than like his race is a little different, obviously. But
no one's died yet, right?
No.
Maybe Vishner did.
No, Venture's dead. Yeah, Venture's dead. He died way quicker than I thought he would. I thought it was a season thing, but whatever.
Yeah. So you just give it time. Characters die, main or side characters, so they could kill someone off and then replace them with Johnson. What I'm trying to get at is it doesn't have to be a merge of characters.
It doesn't have to be, but you're not getting Michael B. Jordan. Like, you're not going to get a big actor. Like, TV shows will not waste money on big actors, especially in a show that's got, like, 50% CGI, especially in the future when they actually get to a alien war.
I don't think they need a big actor for this, right? Like, Halo, by the name itself can stand alone. I don't think Pablo Schreiber is in comparison to Michael B. Jordan, right? Like, he's not nearly as big or as known, and he's doing a stellar job as Master Chief, right? So I don't think you need to get a Michael B. Jordan in here.
That's what I'm saying, though, is will that contingent of people go, that's not what I wanted. I wanted over the top. I wanted like Michael B. Jordan. I wanted, you know what I mean? Will they do that? Like, will that be the complaint of season 3 and 4? Will they still be watching it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So far in the future, if it even happens, I don't know. They might cancel it after season 2.
That's a good like conversation. What is going to happen in these next 2 episodes? Because there's a lot to happen before abandon all hope.
If the floods show up, 10 out of 10.
No way! It'll be rushed. It'll be so super rushed.
Unless kill them all.
Unless you did, they defeat. Okay. Episode 8, right, is the second to last. Next week, we're going to get Master Chief going back to Soren to find the girl that is no longer there. He's mad at Soren. Soren and friends all go with Master Chief to Madrigal because they all now know, hey, we've got the keystone, the weapon, and it's there. It's on that planet. So then they go. She's going to show them the keyhole and the portal, and Maki's going to steal the keystone, go through the portal, and they're going to have to chase her into Episode 9. In Episode 9, big epic battle, like Halo music. Crazy shit. Maybe at the end of the credits, if they take an MCU thing, there will be like a small spore that gets into one of the dead aliens or something, and it turns into a flood.
You want to know what
Maybe.
I'm thinking?
But I doubt it.
This is what I'm thinking.
That's the point of this.
I'm thinking the final scene of Halo Season 1, whether it be an end credit scene or the final scene, is going to be the prophets talking and saying, "You are our holy instrument. We are sending you after these humans, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." And then it's going to cut to Volthradam, a.k.a. the Arbiter. And he's going to be gold and glory in his gold armor.
Maybe.
And we're going to have the Arbiter introduced.
I think it's more
Before
likely
he's
that
the
you
Arbiter.
just kill that big brute. Like, Chief has to kill that big brute. They could probably reference him, but I don't know if introducing a character, unless it's in, like, kind of how Moon Knight did, well, that third person at the very, very end. Like, it's like, maybe they would do that. I don't know if that they, yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
That would excite the hell out of Halo fans.
Halo fans, yes, but not, like, TV people will go, oh, it's another alien.
Okay, time out.
Halo fans, when the brute showed up, were like, oh, it's this guy. And I went, oh, it's a big brute.
I said...
And both were happy, no?
Yeah,
and both were happy. I'm saying that they could do it, right?
So, when you have a
when
casual
it doesn't
goer that goes to
happen-
an MCU movie and they have an end credit scene, they're like, who the hell was that? Like, for example, Doctor Strange, there's a person that shows up and I'm like, who the hell is that? I don't know who that is. I'm not a Marvel geek. Like, I like Marvel movies, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't follow the comics, I don't do all of that. But like, am I excited to see who this character is? Yes. With this is going to be a new character that's an elite. Whether you know he is the Arbiter or not, the Halo fans are going to be like, oh shit. And then they're going to be like, hey, do you know who that is? Person that's not a huge Halo fan? They're like, no, who is that? Let me show you. Let me tell you. It's going to excite the hell out of them. 100% they should do it. 100% they should do it.
I wish that there were more channels doing what you said, but they won't. They'll just go, it was awful, it was bad, it was a bad finale. I'm sad I'm sad we wasted our time, 9 hours of my life gone, and they're going to watch it again next year. Because that's, look, I know this, I'm a WWE fan, I do it a lot. It's pretty bad every week, and I still watch it. I get it.
Yeah.
I really hope these next 2 episodes are really good. It would really change my final verdict of the entire season, because right now it's not great. It's not bad. It's just not great.
I hope episode 8 is a complete 100%
shit show
from the Covenant's point of view.
Oh, that'd be rad.
Please.
Introduce a grunt. Give him a name.
I don't feel like that is out
Give
of the
him a backstory.
narrative, right? That's not just to like give nostalgia bait, right? Like I still feel like the Covenant are an important factor of this story that they're telling, so I would highly appreciate their point of view more so expanding on why they went to get Maquis. Like how did they get these finding instruments, or just like what is the Covenant's main objective here? Because I think the humans have said they've been fighting the Covenant, right? Maquis has said that they're trying to get the holy relics, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just a little more setup of the Covenant would be great.
Yeah. If there was a feature,
Probably
because Halo
cost too
Season
much.
2 just came out in Halo Infinite, that said if you buy our premium edition, that's like the $100 season pass, whatever, $50 of this will go toward the TV show and CGI. I would buy it.
People would rage.
I would buy it.
Nah, well that's
More
good.
CGI, more aliens, more. Give me
That's
more. I want all of it.
You got to think as a cynic. That's what most people will do, and they say, "Oh, that means more Quan." No, I'm not going to play this game now.
No, like
They're already not playing the game.
Yeah.
Specifically, I can't play the game.
Why?
Their servers are down.
I mean, like, if I go to
It's
Twitch,
50.
let's see, even if it's because the new season, let's see if that's bumped it up
I'm
from
gonna go play Master Chief.
50th. It was behind Marbles 3-4 weeks ago.
Oh man.
Well, anyways, that was Halo episode 7 spoiler discussion on the Good Batch podcast. You can find us here on Twitch.